Greetings and salutations, travelers, and welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads. And also, welcome to the next episode of our How to Play series called Laws of the Multiverse. Our subject today is carrying capacity, equipment, and wealth in the Open Legend system. One of the things that all RPGs, tabletop or not, has in common is loot. Players like obtaining various items and equipment either to aid them in completing other goals, or simply as trophies of particular conquests. Handling this amassing of items can get a bit tricky, since players can get into a detrimental habit of hoarding a lot of stuff in their packs, often to unrealistic measures. While there are various methods of handling the accruement of wealth and substance in tabletop games, the one that Open Legend opts for by default is an item count-based carrying capacity and a wealth level instead of currency. At character creation, which is where all the videos up to this point have been focusing, a character is typically expected to be starting off with a reasonable assortment of items and equipment that would make narrative sense for them to have. This means that a party meeting up from something like a common summons to face an ogre that is pillaging the countryside will be expected to have at least the minimum amount of adventuring gear. But a group starting in classic Elder Scrolls fashion, i.e. as a prisoner, would have little to nothing. Common sense plays an obvious role here. We recommend going over this idea during your Session 0 and group character creation. You are having a Session 0, right? Anyway, Open Legend has several classifications of items, namely mundane, weapons, armor, mounts, vehicles, extraordinary, special, and legendary. When it comes to the type and quality of equipment that a character can purchase, that is, as we mentioned, dictated by the abstraction of wealth level instead of actual currency counting. In Open Legend, the abstraction of your wealth into a numerical score means that it can be a representation of not just how much money a character might possess, but also their possession of fine art or other valuables, allowing for a quick and easy way of seeing if something is within the means of the character's purchasing ability. In general, a character is expected to have a wealth score of 2. Now, us just saying that probably means very little to you since we've yet to give a point of reference for that number. So let's remedy that now, shall we? On page 81, there is a wealth overview chart, which shows that a wealth score of 2 is about the same amount of wealth as a skilled laborer, town guard, or the like, and as such, the character would have access to items like general weapons, armor, and a fair form of travel. This is mainly so an average adventurer can have what they need to start their adventure. Before you get too comfortable, though, be aware that this wealth level fluctuates, going up and down as you acquire or spend your riches respectively. Per the book's rules, buying something below a character's wealth level usually doesn't strain a character's finances enough to make their level go down. Purchasing a good or service at your character's wealth level is fine, but taxes your resources to the point that you cannot acquire new stuffs at that wealth level or higher for 2 weeks in-game. It is possible to procure things 1 level above your current wealth level, but the expense is so high that you reduce your wealth level by 1. It is possible to hit wealth level 0 by overspending or not recouping resources, so don't let those characters get too lackadaisical with their lifestyle. Unless that is one of their character flaws, of course. When starting out on an adventure, it is usually assumed that the character has done their purchasing of basic equipment ahead of time. As we mentioned before, this may not hold true to all game beginnings though, so ask your LM for clarification before completing your shopping during character creation and tallying up any armor bonuses to your defenses. Now that you've got all your character's items purchased, you might be coming to the logical question of how much of it you can actually carry around with you at one time. In an effort to keep it simple and focus more on storytelling, Open Legend uses something similar to a slot or bulk system for carrying capacity. Each character can carry up to 20 normal items maximum on their person at one time. This doesn't include things like the clothes that the character is wearing or little things like a piece of chalk or pebble they pick up, but does include their equipped armor and gear. Narrative-friendly stacking of items is something that is encouraged, though. A character might have a quiver full of arrows, or utility belt with multiple healing serums. These types of items can be treated as if they were just a single item for gameplay simplicity. Of course, a little common sense must be applied. A character might be able to physically carry thousands of rounds of ammo via this stacking method, but since that would impede mobility and shot accuracy, they probably wouldn't want to. Discussing things like this with your LM while working out your character concept is advisable. Some items can have the heavy property or the bulky property. For heavy items, a character can carry a number equal to their might score. If they end up carrying that many heavy items at one time, though, their speed is halved. Bulky items are even more awkward to carry, and in general, only one item with that property can be carried at a time. Trying to carry a second bulky item reduces a character's speed to 5 feet, and could impose more penalties if the situation would indicate such. The considerations of wealth level and carrying capacity will be present each time you procure goods and/or services. This includes when you're crafting items via feats you can take. Bear that last bit in mind should you decide to change the way you work wealth and loot in your home games. This seems like a good place to finish up the video. We plan to devote a whole episode to the topic of how crafting items and such works in Open Legend, so we'll save that information for then. Next episode, our plan is to cover leveling up and how you would handle starting an adventure above level 1. As usual, Kane, Levi, Dan from Avenue Studios, and the Great Mustache were helpful in the creation of this script, so a special thank you goes out to them. To stay up to date on all things the Inn of Planar Crossroads has going on, including progress on this series, keep an eye on our community tab on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're still slowly mirroring some of our content from YouTube onto BitChute, so you'll be able to like, share, and subscribe on either one of those sites as you wish. Feel free to put any questions, comments, and/or observations in the appropriate spaces below. If you enjoy this content and feel it worthy of financial support, we not only have a Patreon and Subscribestar for that, as well as a cryptocurrency option via the Brave browser and its basic intention token. Remember, this channel is supported solely by travelers and viewers like you, and doing so gets you access to our Discord, where we are planning to share PDF content once we reach that $250 a month goal. That is all for now, travelers. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and, as always, have a great day, God bless, and enjoy.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.
The one that Open Legend opts for While there are various methods of handling the accruement of wealth and substance in Toby, this is mainly so an average adventurer can have what they... you really should... that displacer beast is really messing up these recordings. I'm just throwing that out there. For anybody else that is planning to record things, manage your displacer beasts. So don't let those characters get too lackadaisical with it.